Hey guys, it's good to see you again. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to my new favorite video studio, whatever you want to call it. Up on the bluffs here in beautiful Santa Monica where the views are awesome, it's always shining, and it's a beautiful day. Another wonderful day in paradise. So, have you ever wondered how are things going to play out in your life or in this plan you have that you look forward to manifesting? Do you always question and look for certainty, and you always make plans and you hope that your plan's gonna work out, and you just worry when things don't go according to plan, and you overplan, you overthink, you overstress, create anxiety, overwhelm, and so on? I think we all been there, right? We all seek this certain amount of certainty in the unknown. Here is what happened to me about a month ago. I never been out camping, and I have this amazing motorcycle which I like to take out on amazing adventures, go places, and so on. But up to this point, every time I went somewhere, I would stay in a hotel or a motel or an Airbnb or some place away from nature. This time I decided I'm gonna start camping, and I'm gonna learn how to camp and figure out a way around it. All I did was went on Amazon, bought me a few things. I might share them with you if you guys want to know what my setup is. I got me a tarp that goes over my hammock. I have a nice hammock, and I also got some under quilt to keep me warm. So all I knew was pretty much I got the equipment that seems, I did some little research that seems durable and good enough. I packed it up, packed a few basic things for 2-3 days trip. I went up the coast towards Big Sur and went online and checked out few camping sites. So I had a good idea as far as what the camping site was or where it was, but then I couldn't reserve anything. It was booked out for months to come. So my idea was, I know where I'm going. What happens? Well, happens what happens. I know I want to go camp, and I'm just gonna go and play it out, see how things actually pan out, instead of really trying to plan everything and schedule and make a point reservations and so on and try to stick to a plan. All I knew is where the destination was. I was open to the journey, just like life is. Life is a journey. It's not about the destination. It's who you meet along the way and who you become along the way. So I was pretty flexible in a sense that I had no attachment. I was fully detached from the outcome. All I knew is I'm going to this place, how things pan out. I didn't know if I'm gonna find a camping spot. I didn't know if I'm gonna make friends. I didn't know anyone, anything, really. All I knew is where I'm going and how to get there because, well, thanks to Google Maps, right? So I went up riding and eventually arrived to the camping site. First thing first, there's a gate where there are park rangers, right? Well, at the gate, you have to check in, right? And since I didn't have a reservation and then I didn't know where I'm going, all I did, there was asking me hey, do you have a reservation? And my thinking process was, well, I'm just gonna tell them my friends are here, but I don't know where, so I'm gonna go look for them and find them, and then pay for the fees to stay. So they were like, hey, do you know what your friend's name is? And I came up with a name right on the spot. Maybe Simpson, Simon, whatever the hell it is. The girl looked over, checked around. She's like, oh, I can't find it. I was like, oh, probably it's under a different name. Do you mind if I go in and just try to find him? I'll come back. She was like, yeah, sure, go in. So there I am with my motorcycle, riding through the camp, looking for a place to put my hammock and friendly people that don't mind me being there, that don't have many cars, and I would be able to park, because the only kind of big restriction was that you cannot park on the grass. All vehicles have to be parked on the street or on the paved roads, not in the vegetation or grass or any of the pavement. So I looked around. First I ran to a guy who was alone, and I was like, hey, do you mind if I park here and maybe put my hammock there? I know it's not a problem for motorcycles because there's no restriction. He was like, I'm not sure, this and that. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna bother him too much. I saw he wasn't very enthusiastic, so I moved on. Next thing you know, the folks right next to happened to be so friendly. Like, they're so awesome. Shelby and Mitch were her name. And if you guys watching this video, hey, good to see you guys. Hope I'm gonna run into you again. So I met Mitch and Shelby. They're like so welcoming and warm and generous and just open and friendly from the get-go. They're like, oh yeah, you can leave your hammock over there. We don't mind. We're expecting just some friends. So just, park your motorcycle there. You can put your stuff there. Do you want some beer? Do you want this? Do you want this? Can we help you with this? I was like literally overwhelmed. I was like, wow, this is so wonderful. Like, I didn't even have a clue how things would turn out. My only idea was that whatever happens, I got this. I've been through so many situations in my life that I was like, I never even had a slightest doubt that whatever the situation is and life presents me with, whatever challenge, obstacle, or, whatever it is, I would be able to handle it and respond accordingly. Because resourcefulness and being open to improvise and going with the flow rather than sticking to a rigid plan is, to me, one of the most essential ways to really become amazing at living life and functioning at the highest level. Because you see, the more you are sold on or going according to plan, the more you're gonna miss out on opportunities, right? Because think of it this way. If you follow a strict plan, you're like a racing horse. You don't see in your peripheral. All you see is the destination where you're headed. And that's great. But at the end of the day, are you there for the result? How many times in your life at this point, if you really go deep and reflect on your life, you would notice that was never about the result. It was about the emotions, the experience, the people you met, who you became along the way. It was never about the end result, because as soon as you get to the end result, you're already at what's next? Okay, I got this, so what's next? So we got this milestone, then off to the next one, right? So, same here. Learning to flow with the river of life and being open to opportunities and not have a rigid plan to follow is the most beautiful thing, because we live in a universe that is ripe with opportunities. It's an abundant place, and the less you try to control the outcome, the more amazing possibilities that occur, because you no longer have a mindset, you have an open mind or open operating system that attracts any possibility. And we live in a universe of infinite possibilities. So why limit yourself to something that only is limited to your imagination? Look around you. Look at nature. I mean, we all want to, sound amazing and all that and convince ourselves we're the greatest imaginators, have the wildest creativity, but there's so many creatures, so much nature, so much shape, so much amazing ideas and imagination that went into creating the world we live in throughout the galaxies and universe and so on, right? Like, trust the imagination of the universe. Here is my mindset, or the way I look at things. First and foremost, I know I got this, right? This is the first point I want to make out to get across to you guys and share with you. It's an important thing to understand, because the more you go outside of your comfort zone, the more you actually build the confidence inside yourself about being able to handle whatever life throws at you, right? Because you're no longer going with the rigid plan. You're no longer disappointed because you had an expectation that didn't come through. And you're no longer limited just to that option that you already choose from the menu. We're actually in a buffet. And let's put it this way, most likely whatever universe will throw at you will be a better opportunity and a lot more exciting and a lot more imaginative than your own ideas. Maybe sometimes it's a challenge, but look at challenges at, why is this happening to me? How is this helping me on my mission? How is this making me better? Always, second point. First point, being open, right? Having an open mindset and not be rigid. Just learn to flow with the river of life. Life is like a river. It bends and turns and goes up, it goes down, it goes through caves and so on, right? It's never a straight line. The only straight line you see throughout the universe is man-made, because that's what the rational, logical mind defaults to. The shortest distance between point A and point B. However, we all know that this is not how things in nature work. So being able and open to flow, and always be in this state of improvisation rather than being locked up and expecting a certain outcome where you can get disappointed and so on. You're just open. You know where you want to go. The only thing is you're open to how you're going to get there, right? Because maybe you wanted to catch the train but you missed it. Okay, cool. What's the other option? Maybe next train, or maybe there's a bus, or maybe you can even find a cheaper plane ticket, right? This is just a concept, right? What would have been in my case? Let's say I go there at the campsite, I go around and everybody's kind of like afraid and unopen and unfriendly, and they're like, we cannot do this and that, they're uncomfortable with strangers, whatever it is, right? And what's the worst case scenario? I'm in North America. There's so many Airbnbs, there's so many motels, hotels. I'm not gonna be left on the street, right? I can afford to sleep somewhere. To me, it was about the adventure, about having this open mindset. And the more you do this, the more you go out in life with this open mindset where you I'll just play with the way things are, and I'll just respond accordingly, right? I'll just improvise on the go. I'll just see how things are. The better actually things turn out. Because in my case, again, I'm just gonna go camping. What I had in mind as best case scenario wasn't even slightly close to actually how things played out. Because again, once you open to all these amazing opportunities out there, the infinite possibilities that we have available to us, and we're not limited to one specific one, now we give the universe opportunity to respond accordingly and give us all these opportunities and serve us something that's wildly surpasses even our own wildest imagination, right? Because why do we want the certainty? Just to feel safe and secure. That's all it is. It's our evolutionary psychology. It's nothing else. It's just to know that we're gonna be safe. Well, here's the reality. We live in the safest, most abundant time ever since humanity has been around. It doesn't get safer or more abundant than what is. If you look back through history, you will see that our ancestors, your mom, your dad, your grandfathers, your grandfathers, their grandfathers lived in a very different environment. Things were a lot more dangerous. Life wasn't as abundant, right? Now we live in this amazing world with so many opportunities. So why not be open to the opportunities? Why be rigid? Nothing in nature that's rigid is actually able to withstand the tests of time and nature, right? Because when you see a tree or a palm tree, for example, here, when the winds are heavy, what do the palm trees do? They dance, they bend. Because if they were rigid, they were literally, their roots around the soil, because it's not a deep root system, they'll literally fall on the ground, right? So you have to be flexible. You have to be able to swim, to dance with life, right? It does the most magical thing. Here's the second point. Life happened for us, not to us. This is the most empowering mindset to adopt. And the more you're able to comprehend and take this concept to heart, and you're open and disattached, you just know where you want to go, but you're open to how you're gonna get there. And just in the space of play and just curiosity and and everything that comes along is fun and fine, regardless of what it is. Because think of it this way: the famous poet Rumi has one of my favorite quotes. How can you expect to become a polished gem if you cannot handle a little rubbing, right? So life will rub you a little bit sometimes in a harsh way, just to make sure to get you nice, polished and shiny, to turn you into this precious gem that we all are, right? We cannot expect to turn into precious gems without any polishing, without any brushing, without any work. Life is a big adventure, and that's the most beautiful part. Because if we had this amount of certainty where everything we plan and we want to manifest, we plan it to the spot and everything always manifests and goes according to plan, it will be the most boring existence, I kid you not. Because why do you want something new? For example, a new job, right? You go to job every single day. At first it's great. Oh, I got this new job and this and that. 3 months later, you're like, oh, fuck, man, this is boring, right? Why? Because it's predictable. It's the same thing over and over again. You know what time you need to go. You know what you need to do. You know what your coworkers is going to say. You know how pretty much the whole day is going to play out. So what happens? Once we have too much certainty, we get bored. This is part of the human thing. So the less you are rigid in your mindset or the way you want things to play out, the more opportunities and the more abundance and wealth will manifest into your life, because this is how the universe works. You see, the universe is not a place of scarcity. Scarcity only exists in the human mind as a concept. Nowhere else in nature there is such thing. You can see the abundance around us in everything. So surrender. This is my message. Surrender. Surrender to the river of life. Learn to flow with it. Be ready to improvise. The best actors, all the best people in the world are ready to improvise whenever life calls for it. This is what it's called, actually responsibility stands for, right? If we break down the word in its meaning, what does responsibility means? Ability to respond. Response ability. Or the ability to respond, meaning that you're not reacting, you're just flowing, you're responding. You have this goal, you want to get there, okay. But you're open to how you're going to get there. Maybe you're going to fly, maybe you're going to swim, maybe you're going to teleport yourself, or who knows, maybe you got a magic carpet. How amazing would be that, right? So you're open to opportunities. You're not rigid. You don't get disappointed because you don't have expectations. Less planning, more flexibility, right? Because as Mike Tyson says, don't quote me on the quote, but your plan will fall down or would not work out the moment I punch you in the face. You can plan as much as you want, but the moment I punch you in the face or life puts you to the test, your plans fall apart, because plans are created in a laboratory static vacuum, right? This is not how life happens. There is cause and effect to everything. So if you want to cause the most amazing, abundant, wonderful effect in your life, be open to flow. The more flexible and less rigid you are, the more fulfilling, amazing and wonderful your life will pan out to be. So thank you once again. If you guys think that this is an amazingly exciting, educational, inspirational video, please leave me a comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and make a suggestion about what you would like me to talk about next time or in the coming episodes. I'll be sharing many stories with you from my daily, weekly, monthly life, where I see that there are good lessons for me to convey through my life experience, because life is a big school. We are here to play and learn, and there is a little mouse right underneath over there, which is funny. Like all of a sudden this mouse came out in the middle of the day. I guess he doesn't care that, oh, he's even almost gonna come here. Let me see if I can get him in the camera. Let's see if I can show you guys the mouse, and we're gonna clear the... Anyways, I think he ran away. Yeah, he hit somewhere. But thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you next time. Thrive and strive, my friends.